Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. John Douillard, and welcome to LifeSpa.com, where we prove ancient medical wisdom with modern science. And today, I want to talk about how to overcome unwanted emotions. You know, a lot of us have just come back from the holidays, visiting relatives, visiting families, and we often notice that we find ourselves acting like a 4-year-old again, allowing our parents, relatives to trigger old protective patterns of behavior that we created as young children that surprisingly we're still projecting on the screen today as adults. And we don't really notice it until we go home for the holidays and see how easily we are triggered. You know, one study showed that 95% of the things that we think and say and do are impressions made in the first 6 years of life. So the things that 95% of the things that we do today, think and do all day long, 95% are derived from impressions that were created in the first 6 years of life. They're called unconscious behaviors. Many of us are walking around unconscious. In Ayurvedic medicine, realize that we walk around unconscious, and that's great, but the goal was to become conscious. And that is exactly what Ayurveda does. It's exactly what we do here at LifeSpa, is to try to help people get their body to be balanced so we can become healthier, therefore less stressed, therefore more calm, therefore more aware. And when you're more aware and more still, you can begin to see more clearly the truth and the non-truth. You can see and watch yourself like you did around the holidays, you know, being triggered, watching your mother or your father or sister or brother or relative make you into a version of yourself that's not you, and how we are letting other people make us into something that we're not. We're reacting to their stress or to them. So this is I actually just finished a 1-hour podcast on this concept of overcoming our emotions and breaking these old protective patterns and becoming conscious. So I invite you to watch that. We'll give you the link to that podcast. It's free. You can watch. It's an hour-long session going into detail of all of these concepts. But there's two major principles that I want to share with you that are very, very important. And they're in Ayurvedic medicine. In one of their textbooks, there are 4 words that describe all Vedic science: yoga, breathing, meditation. The whole concept was derived in 4 words, which I think is pretty cool. To boil all that down to these 4 words, which are established, being, perform, action, which means that to become conscious, to not live a life where we're constantly allowing other people's behavior to making us into something that we're not, or so attached to the need of approval, the need to be loved and cared for and appreciated by other people, that we spend most of our time in our mind unconsciously engaging in behaviors that we think they're going to like. Just like we did as a young kid. If you were a young kid, baby growing up, we're hardwired to want mom and dad to love us. If we didn't care that mom and dad loved us, looked over us, or appreciated us, we would have wandered into the jungle a long time ago, got eaten by lions, and there'd be no people here. So clearly we are hardwired, right, to want people to love us. And then we go into life and we realize that need for approval can be replaced with toys and candy and sweets and cars and money and power and fame and candy and Coke and toffee and shopping. And we did a great job of making darn sure that we didn't have to become conscious. We did a great job of flooding our environment with things that stimulate us in a reward chemistry, using hormones like dopamine to make us feel satisfied temporarily until we get to the next Starbucks or we get to the next movie, to the next distraction. So Ayurveda was like, this is not good enough. Even thousands of years ago, people were like, all excited about the new sari and the new sandals and the jewelry and making more money and becoming whatever. Trust me, we're human beings. We like being distracted, and it's not bad. It's just that when it's overwhelmed and we have constantly, our brain wanting to be fed from the outside and not letting ourselves be truly who we are, then we lose out on something so critically important to the experience of life, which is to be truly content. And more importantly, maybe to love fully, to love deeply, to the old saying I love, which says, I love you, but it's no concern of yours. I have fallen in love with love. There was an amazing study that was done where they actually had people give gifts to people, one hedonistically, with a little bit of a hope that you like it, not in a bad way. It's a beautiful gift. Here it is. I like it. I hope you like it. I hope it's the right color. I hope it fits. I'm a little bit attached to you liking it. I want you to enjoy the gift. That's not bad, right? Well, the other group were giving eudaimonically, which means I don't really care whether you like the gift. I'm loving giving you this gift because it's giving me joy. They measured the genetic impact on both of those givings, and the hedonistic gift had no impact at an epigenetic or genetic level. But when I gave with just full, complete, 100% me loving giving you, it changed the genetic code. So when you're loving someone fully, they can feel it. So when you go home for the holidays and you're, being with your parents and your mom is, or dad or whatever, is really still, like we all are as young kids, because we never got conscious, still wanting you to love them and appreciate them. And they're not feeling it. So they, with their mind, figure out a way to manipulate you to love them, which might be, you should be, you should cook this way. You should get a better job. You should get a better house, and telling you all these things that you should do. Because if you would do what she wants, that would give her the illusion of feeling secure, would give her reward chemistry. But to you, it's like, I don't want you to tell me what to do. So you're reacting to a version of her that isn't her. It's a version of her that she's projecting on the screen to give her a temporary sense of satisfaction, which has nothing to do with who she really is. Because who she really is hiding underneath the armor of her needing to be loved by you. And you're reacting to a version of her that is projected on the screen that is her hoping that you love her, which has nothing to do with who she is. So you're reacting to a version of her that's not her. So no wonder you react to her. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you be yourself? Because you're reacting to someone who isn't herself. So somewhere we got to break the pattern and become conscious, right? That's the whole point. So that's the whole point of this podcast, is to give you the strategy. So the 4 words were established being, become aware. This is the whole point of Ayurveda, is to become more highly aware, and then perform action, transformational action. There's actually an aspect of the Vedas called Dhanurveda. I wrote an article, you can go to my website, it's called Dhanurveda Spiritual Archery. And it was the Vedic, Veda means truth, right? It's the truth of transformation. So the idea was when you pull back a bow, if you're moving the bow and the arrow like this a little bit, it's going to have exponential, that's the word, distortion at the flight of the arrow, right? But if I hold this back and be perfectly still, to the extent that I am still is the extent when I release the arrow, I create a transformational action step. So the key is to shoot the arrow, live your life from the deepest place of your own silence. Meditation courses teach us how to be still, yoga, breathe, meditate, become calm, become silent, but nobody tells you how to take action. And it seemed to be this missing gap and link in Vedic science and meditation programs. It was just like, I was like, you guys aren't getting it. We're only talking about half of the equation. Everybody says, be still, be silent, meditate, and then go live your life. Lie, cheat, and steal. It's not enough. You have to learn to be still, and then pull back that bow, and then take action and transform and free yourself and become conscious. That's the goal. That's the whole point of this whole thing, which is amazing when you can do that. So I reluctantly decided to write a meditation course, the transformational awareness technique. 6 meditations to emotional freedom. And what I did is I gave 6 meditations, each one a little more advanced, takes you a little deeper, but each meditation linked to action steps. So we learn the skills of pulling back the bow, becoming still and silent, and becoming comfortable in that silence, and then shooting the arrow from that place. Even in my first book, Body, Mind, Sport, about when we did nasal breathing exercise research, we found that when people breathe through their nose, when they run, their brains go into a meditative calm. I was searching for the research on the runner's high. We published that study years ago and found that when you breathe through your nose, you create an internal peace and calm in the midst of running, right? It's the ability to be calm and act from that calm. I think of it like a hurricane. The bigger the eye of the storm, the more powerful the winds, right? So what we want to do in Ayurveda is teach you how to create the calm, the eye of the storm, and slowly build the winds around that storm till soon you're a fully mature hurricane with the ability to be amazingly calm, at the same time incredibly dynamic and powerful. And this is the goal of Ayurveda, is not say you should meditate and do less. No, we should be unlimited in our potential, but you can't do it unless you pull back the bow. And that, I invite you to watch that podcast. It's free. You go to lifespa.com and it should be right on the homepage there. Or you can go to the Learn tab and go to my podcast, and you can watch the Overcoming Unwanted Emotions there and check it out at lifespa.com. Thank you very much. Hope you guys are having a great day. Bye.